Okay, today on Love in the Wild, we are joined by entrepreneur and changemaker Gabby Rooney, a three-time founder on a mission to redefine women's everyday essentials. As a co-founder of Cuft, Gabby is challenging the status quo with non-toxic, plastic-free underwear made from natural fibers, while also giving back to women in need through every purchase. Beyond building purpose driven brands, she's deeply passionate about empowering female entrepreneurs and making healthier living more accessible for women everywhere. This is such a thoughtful conversation about wellness, impact, entrepreneurship, and building brands with heart. So sit down, you're not going to want to miss this one. And welcome to Love in the Wild, Gabby.
Thank you so much. That was a great intro. I always like hearing what people gather from the internet and all that good stuff.
I mean, I looked you up on the internet and you're a boss. Like you are just like the definition of a boss.
I appreciate that. I sometimes I don't feel like a boss because I'm a solopreneur, as they say. I mean, I have teams here and there, but for the most part, like I was just telling you earlier, like I sit in my office in my house and I have events here and there, but I have to force myself to get out every once in a while and realize there's there's it outside of what I do every day, selling underwear, right?
Yep. And it's so funny you say that because, I think before getting super into it, we like level up our benchmark all the time. So
Right.
when we're doing so well, it just starts to become normal. It becomes this habit. And we're like, oh, well, this is just my new standard. This is like what I function at. This is, I just start three companies and like empower women. And I just, do your boss babe life. So I just want to say you're
Yeah,
not just
when you
normal.
put it that way, I kind of, it's not for everyone. As you know, like entrepreneurship is not for everyone. I'm someone who just has a lot of energy and a lot to build and I love it. So, I appreciate that.
You're welcome. So tell me about your latest company and kind of the ins and outs of it.
Yes. Well, you introed it very well. Cuft is a non-toxic plastic-free underwear brand. It started by me and my mom. It was actually my mom's idea. She went on a safari in Africa and was camping and brought disposable underwear with her. It was defined as disposable. And when she went to dispose of it, the staff on site said, you can't dispose of that because it is toxic. It has toxic chemicals and plastics and all these things that could disrupt our environment. And we have limitations here. And so this kind of started this question of if this is affecting the environment, what is it doing to our bodies? And so we went into this deep dive a few years back in understanding what is actually in our underwear. And it's something that we didn't think as women we needed to worry about, women and men, but we do. And come to find out that most of our underwear is made with synthetic fibers, which are basically plastic, and they are treated in chemicals through certain processes that are not even known to us, not even disclosed to us. And in the US, there are not a lot of rules when it comes to what you can sell with your clothes. And so we're on a mission to not only educate women about what's in their intimate wear and their intimate care, but also provide an essential that is safe, which is so crazy that we don't have safe underwear. So that's our mission, that's our goal, and we really just want to reach as many women as possible. This has become obviously my business, my what I'm doing on a daily basis, but it's such a passion of mine, and it's great to speak to so many amazing women every single day about what's in your underwear. It's really fun.
That it's just eye-opening to me that, once you kind of start digging deep into, I'm really passionate about like food and nutrition.
Right.
So diving deep into just how polluted in comparison to other countries and how
Oh,
dysregulated our food system is, I wouldn't have even thought to think about
about
my underwear,
right.
and like the regulations around that. Like,
Exactly. And that's something that we use. We're like, people are, and I think this is like kind of the next wave, because people think about clean food, clean skincare. And the next step is like clean clothing. But
mhm.
yeah, to talk about the food, like it is the same thing. There are certain dyes that are banned in the EU or other countries that we are using here in the US. I know a lot of states, Texas for one, is working to kind of delve deeper into a lot of these corporations that are doing bad things to our food, our clothing, our skincare, all that stuff. And so there are movements toward noticing these things, and it's just about educating the consumer because the layperson doesn't have the time to kind of figure out what is in our food, right? We're all working, we're all doing all so many things. So it's really eye-opening and scary for sure.
It is. I mean, you already have me sold on, like, I'm
Yeah.
literally throwing away all of my underwear. But with all, you're saying like the normal stuff has plastic in it. What material or fabric or kind of composition is cuffed and how does it make it different?
Yes, great question. And I'll kind of touch on a lot because people, go in a spiral when I say these things. And I'll preface this by saying I'm not a medical doctor. This is all from my own research and the research that my business does. Cuft uses Tencel. It's 100% Tencel, meaning there's no blends with synthetic fibers. Your traditional underwear on the market is typically cotton with a synthetic blend like elastine or polyester. And I'll talk on I'll cuffed and then I'll talk about the traditional underwear. But we use 100% Tencel, which is wood based. So the actual process of making Tencel is a closed loop process. So everything is recycled during the actual production, which is the most environmentally friendly production of fabric and materials, which is number one right there, really great and exciting because not only are we recycling everything back, but we are also not treating our fabric with chemicals. So right off the bat, we know that our underwear is produced in a safe environment that is also certified non-toxic, has all these certifications that I don't need to get into. They're on our website. So if you want to learn more about all the certifications, but the one that I'll talk about, which most consumers know about is Oco Tech Standard 100. You'll see that in a lot of cotton, a lot
I've
of
seen it.
yeah, a lot of like towels and sheets. So that just means that you're meeting the highest of standards when it comes to the production. So that's really really great to have. I think that's the bare minimum is what I tell my consumers. So not only the production process with Tencel is great, we make sure that no dyes are synthetic, no chemicals, and of course, the actual body of the underwear is 100% Tencel, which is, like I said, wood based. And the benefits of that to your body are so great because it's naturally breathable, naturally moisture wicking, naturally odor resistant, naturally antibacterial. So you're really giving your body the best kind of fabric that is for, your sensitive areas.
Yeah.
And yeah, we made this to so that women do feel safe when they're wearing the underwear and comfortable. The thing that matters the most about underwear, in our opinion, is the fact that it's breathable because what happens is that you could have a buildup of bacterial when fabric is trapping heat and moisture. And that leads to yeast infections, UTIs, all that bad stuff. So that is our main thesis is try to prevent all of that trapping of heat and moisture and odor causing bacteria. So it's a really interesting underwear when you start talking about it all. Who
That
knew?
literally, who knew? And that's just like so, I guess, mind blowing.
Yeah.
Like it angers me, right? Like
Right.
that there aren't more people like you that are like, no, we're actually going to care. We're actually going to do something about it. And we're also going to educate people on it.
Right. I mean, that's what we hope we can. Our underwear is an essential.
Mhm.
It's an essential. It's not just a basic, it's an essential item that you use every single day and that we rely on to protect us, our, most intimate areas. And
Mhm.
so if we can shed a little bit of light and try to make this accessible, then we're winning. And I will say, like, I spoke briefly on cotton. Cotton is great. Cotton is what most brands use. 100% cotton. If you're going to choose cotton, choose 100% cotton. So it doesn't have any blends of synthetic fibers. What big brands do that we are, trying to educate our consumers on is they hide the actual composition of the underwear. So they'll say a cotton underwear, but when you actually look down the product details, it's 70% cotton, 30% elastine. So make
Mm,
sure that you are looking carefully at what your underwear is in. And, this is not for everyone. So if you don't want to cut out 100% of the elastine, then choose the 70-30 cotton. We are
yeah.
just trying to let it be known that we are a little bit better when it comes to the actual composition of the fabric. And we want to have transparency, right?
Yeah, I think that's a huge thing is that there there isn't the transparency.
Yeah.
You can, you have the lack of regulation where you can say it's 100% cotton and then it's because it's over 60% or whatever the rules are, they get that loophole to say that it's
Exactly.
100% when it's really only 70.
Exactly, exactly. And it's crazy to me because I was in I still am in the liquor industry, but my first business was a canned margarita and it is so regulated. I mean, to get alcohol on the market, you have to do all these loopholes. You have to go through all these hurdles to get your product on the market. And I understand because it's alcohol. But those same steps and those same barriers should be for clothing, should be for food, should be for skincare because anyone can sell anything. And yes,
Yes.
I'm for entrepreneurship and I love that, but there should be some type of, check on products that we're putting on our bodies.
Totally. I'm right there with you. And I love that you, again, are a serial entrepreneur. Did you have an aha moment when you were like, maybe you were in the corporate world and you were like, this isn't for me? Or did this start, when you were 5 at a lemonade stand? Like, where was your
Great
kind of aha
question.
moment?
Great question. I was in the corporate world. I went to Boston College for school and then I moved to New York City as a lot of the East Coast people do. And I was working in the corporate world doing corporate events and I did not like it because I I felt as if I wanted more. And what was frustrating was I couldn't do anything that was outside of core responsibilities. And the aha moment was super specific. I said to my boss, I was working there for probably 2 years, like not even that long. I said to my boss, I want another promotion because I was promoted at the year mark and then whatever. And
Hmm.
he said, no, your role is this level, and you're not going to make any more for the next 5 years, and you're not going to get promoted because that's just what the rules are. And I said, forget it. I am not doing this anymore. And then COVID hit, and then it was like, oh, okay. I got laid off. And so it was like, okay, perfect timing. But
Yep.
yeah, that was my aha moment. I don't like following rules. And I didn't like to be constricted to just what I had to do. That's not fun.
Yeah. That's such a cool moment because I go back and forth where, I sometimes get stuck or sucked back into the corporate world because it does have its benefits,
Of
right? Like,
course.
it's a steady paycheck, you know exactly what your role is, you know your hours, everything is constant. And I've never knocked anybody who wants to be in the corporate world or, has this kind of standard just for themselves. I know that my mom gets so frustrated with me because I have that entrepreneurial mindset because she's very peaceful and just likes
Right.
consistency. So I've had to explain to her, I'm like, it's the difference of I like to make my own road. I
Yes.
I have this dream of what my life looks like, and it's not going to be achieved by living in the corporate world.
And it could be and I like that, but it could also be both. Like, you're
Mhm.
right, you're doing it. You're doing it right with this podcast, with the events that you throw, you're doing that. And so two things can be true at the same time, right?
Yep.
And I think that that is like a misconception about entrepreneurship, that you have to like go all in. Yes, at a certain point you do, because if you really want your business, your brand to be successful, you have to be eats, breathing it. It can be a slow build. And I've seen a lot of founders that I actually mentor like do that. They work for their full-time job and then start the business on the side as you're doing. And then there is an aha moment or like a realization that, okay, time for me to quit corporate life. And you can always go back. That's what's great. Nothing's permanent.
Yes, I completely agree with you, and that's always how I've phased out of corporate is that
Yeah.
one second, is that I will have a side hustle and that'll be, until it's making me enough money and it's steady and it's consistent, and when it starts taking more of my time, I'm like, "Okay, that's when I
Yeah.
need to switch. I need to jump ship. I need to go fully into what I'm doing." But also, like, to your same point, I'm in a season of I'm 36, I'm turning 37 in a couple days, and I'm
Happy.
really thank you. I'm really in my peaceful era. So
Love
instead
that.
of taking on more than I can chew and really, like, hitting the pavement hard, I'm like, "I'm gonna just do what keeps me obviously, making money, but also peaceful, where I'm not up until 12 o'clock at night
Yeah.
or, I'm stressed and I'm frazzled and I'm, overworking myself." I'm like, "This is my peaceful entrepreneur era."
Yes.
So,
So what does
there's
that entail? I'm curious because I need to take notes because I do the waves where I'm like, I think I'm peaceful, and then the stress comes back. So what does that look like? I'm curious.
it's very hard, I will say. I've really tried to just understand my body.
Okay.
You know, I put all of the the essentials on my calendar. So it's like I put my workouts, all of my kids' stuff, making sure I'm getting 8 hours of sleep. I have enough time to meal prep. Like I'm really focused on being healthy. And then the rest of the time goes towards my go getter side. So it's like whatever hours I have left, that's when I'm in hustle mode and I'm dedicated to the hustle at that time.
I love that. And you forgot to mention that you have kids, and like I don't have kids yet. And so that's such a different thing because then you have to prioritize that, then you have to prioritize your I like that you're like my essentials. Like the basis for me to be functioning, and it's like workout, food, kids, like I love that. Sleep.
Yeah.
That's really helpful, and then you're like, "Okay, it's not that work comes last, it's just whatever else is carved out is what that's for."
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, and it's so hard to be, I'm assuming, a mom and, like, do everything.
Yeah, because I have one speed. It's like 0 to 60. And so I
Yes.
get an idea and I'm like, "Okay, so we're taking it to the moon." Like, there's no other
No,
option. It's just
exactly.
this is my weight that kind of pulls me down, and it's like, your kids are only young for so long. You only get this much time. The
Right,
hustle can come back later.
exactly, and, yeah, there's so many women that I always think of Martha Stewart, and, like, she didn't start until she was, like, 40, right? So I
Yes.
always think of that, and I'm like, there is such a I mean, I think there's a time clock ingrained in women just naturally, and so we think that we need to be doing so much before we're 30 or before we're 40, and it's just absurd. It's
Yeah,
absurd.
it is. And that's reminders that I have to tell myself all the time. It doesn't come natural. I'm not like, "Oh, my schedule's carved out, and so now I'm peaceful all the time." It's like there's no timeline.
You look in yourself in the mirror and you're like, "I am peaceful today. I am
Yes.
peaceful
It's more
today."
like, "You will be peaceful," to, like, shout it at myself, but
Whatever works.
it really does. So, going back to, your boss era, what like, were there any really early wins or failures that you were just, like, left you questioning everything?
For which business? I mean, yes, literally so many. Oh my gosh. I mean, the failures out like, when you ask about wins, like, we're our most critical self. So, for me,
Mhm.
wins are it's hard to think of, like, concrete wins. Like, we don't have like, we've never had, like, a big PO, like, that's not for us, like we're focused on such, and I'm talking about Cuffed specifically. We're
Mhm.
focused on slow growth because I think the failures that I had with my first business with Damn Right were such big learning lessons, meaning like I went too big too fast and ended up losing a lot of money because we ordered too much inventory, the inventory sat, and then it expired. So, like,
Mm.
those are, like, failures that happen over a long period of time, and then the wins are the same for me. It's like the wins are just incremental growth, right? And seeing our KPIs improve, I think something specifically is just like launching on Amazon and having our Amazon, outperform our Shopify store within the first 3 months. And so those types of things when I are like seeing the actual work play out are huge because it's hard to see it on a daily basis, but
Mhm.
back and like do the monthly numbers or the quarterly numbers, that's when I feel the real win. And so I think for us, it's just like being, creating a community of customers that are loving our products and wanting more. I think that's like the bare minimum, right?
Yes.
But yeah, I think, like, I learned so much in my other ventures that it's just this seems like, okay, time to, like, really nail it, and I want this business to be, the long run where I have a big exit. That's my manifestation for Cuffed.
Oh,
So, yeah, maybe we'll redo this in a few years, and I'll be like, "Yeah, that was my big win."
yeah, you'll be like the next Emma Grady, and you'll just
I
be
hope so. I
I'm
hope
I'm
so.
throwing it out there for you.
Thank you. I definitely work very, very hard, but, we all do, and so it's honestly, like, sometimes just, like, opportunity and luck and all that good stuff, you know?
Yeah.
You never know.
I will say, I feel like you're being very, like, mellow on yourself. Not everybody works that hard. Like,
You're probably right, you're probably right.
I think the same. I'm like, everybody, has the same passion or the same work ethic, and
No.
then you get out into the world and you're like, I actually don't think they do."
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right, and I think
So,
it's yeah, I mean, definitely, like I said, entrepreneurship is not for everyone. It's really tough, and it's like but now I'm in it, and I can't get out of it. I'm, like,
yes.
here, I'm here, for now at least.
Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah, there's days where I wish I didn't have the entrepreneurial mindset. If, like, I would
I was
probably, like, age less faster.
100%. I mean, totally. I'm tired. When is my, like, retirement? But then I know, like, you would be like, you would r if you were tired, then you'd be like, I'm bored," you know? That's, like, kind of
Yes.
that's the easiest way to explain it, I think.
It truly is, like, and I'm not okay with being bored.
No.
I wish I
No.
was.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
But I want to address the huge elephant in the room, which is really exciting for you, is that Cuffed is on Amazon. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes. Oh my gosh. It
Sold.
was a journey to get there.
Yes. I heard Amazon is a beast.
It is a beast, and I can't take full credit because we hired a team specifically to do the onboarding.
You have to.
Yes, you have to because it's a full-time job. And I will say for anyone who's trying to get on Amazon, like, it is a like I said, it's a full-time job, and hiring someone that knows specifically how to do it is the way to go. And if you wanna get there quick, you have to work as fast as them. So, like, I was, like, constantly like, "Okay, okay, okay," and then we did it quick, right? And then, having someone manage those ads because once you figure it out, you're off to the races.
Yeah, and I loved what you said because I love learning everything, but then I
Mhm.
also know this is part of my peaceful entrepreneurial era, is that I know that I can't do everything.
Mm.
So, you know, Amazon, I would love to learn how to onboard a brand to Amazon, but then I think about how much time it'll take me to learn just to become like a novice at it. And
Right.
then I have to account for all the errors I'm gonna make. What cost does that, equate into it?
It's a
And so
lot.
you have to know when you're like, my capabilities end here, and it's just more cost effective to hire the expert over here.
Absolutely. You're hitting the nail on the head because we just recently are like I recently hired a virtual assistant and it was the best thing I've ever done. Yeah, I mean, it's part of, being an entrepreneur is the control and having the control over everything and needing to it's not even just a micromanage thing. It's just being able to do everything yourself. Obviously, there's personal issues there, but we don't need to get into those today. And letting it go is, like, the only way to scale, is the only way. And, yeah, I mean, recently, like, my brother who's a data analyst is helping me out interpret our data, and I'm like, "Wow, this is stuff that would have taken me hours, if not days to do," and he did it in his spare time. And letting control of that is where brands and businesses thrive because or grow rather, because they're able to give like offset responsibility.
Yeah.
It's weird, but then you have to do it and you're like, "Wait, what do I do?" No, kidding. There's always something to do.
Yeah. And it's also like maybe you feel this way, maybe you don't, but part of it's the control where I'm like, I have a vision in my head. But then the secondary part of that is even just putting to words what my vision is to then explain it to somebody else.
Yes, because 'cause you're like, "Oh my god, it's gonna take me so much longer to tell them to explain to them, so I might as well just do it myself."
Yes.
Yeah.
So, what does your kind of routine look like as a female founder?
Love that. I'm such a routine person and like you, like I prioritize sleep. Like my husband always makes fun of me because I'm like 9 p.m. rolls around. I'm like, I am getting in bed because I wake up early. I try to wake up around 6:15. I have do 2 workout classes a week. And so if I'm not doing workout class, I'm working out at home. And then I usually have meetings 9 to 12, and then my afternoons are usually free to get work done, actual work done. And then, I mean, I've been doing a bad job of work-life balance, but I just don't think there is one. I recently bought a house with my husband and we just moved in like 2 weeks ago, and if I'm not working at my desk, I'm like working on something in the kitchen or doing that, and so I'm like, I gotta like chill, but I think my routines are just like you said, prioritizing sleep, doing my workouts every single day. I have to, even if it's just a walk.
Yes.
But the thing is like, I love what I do, and I think that's the difference between, like that's just the difference for me is, like, I love working until, like, 8 p.m. I don't know why, but that's because I love, like, this business and I'm excited about it. If it was a
Mm.
different business, probably I don't know, but I've yeah, that's my day to day, and then sometimes we usually have an event like once a month or like I'm going to a networking event tonight, so I try to do that often. And yeah, that's pretty much my day to day.
I like it. I like that you're a routine person.
You have to.
You have to.
Otherwise, it's like I don't know how I would get anything done.
Yes, because
Yeah.
like, I live and breathe off my calendar. So if it's not on
Yes.
my calendar, like, it doesn't exist in my world,
I know.
and
If
I
I don't
said
put it down, write it
yeah,
down. I missed a meeting the other day because I didn't put it on my calendar, literally. And I'm
yeah,
like, "Oh my god, I never miss meetings." So I kinda panicked, but it's okay.
yeah,
No one was calling me, so I was like, "Alright, this is not a big deal."
yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Do you have Post-it notes everywhere? Sticky notes?
I have moved to my digital era, and now I just have a mess of, like, my iPhone Notes app
Yeah.
where it's, like, a paint color, or it's a hex code, or it's, like, everything is just random, and it's not organized.
Yeah, it makes sense to you, but if anyone else were to look at it, they'd be like, "What? What is going
Yeah.
on?"
Because the problem is I love writing things down. I have a notebook, and so I do that. But then if I leave the notebook
Yes.
or, like, I leave the Post-it note, then I'm just a fish out of water. Like, I'm
Yeah.
completely useless. So I
Yeah.
was like, "Let's put it somewhere where it sinks everywhere."
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like you have to take a picture of the Post-it note, which I sometimes do, and I'm like, "This is dumb. Just put it in the notes app."
Yes. So, what is your future goal for Cuffed? Like, if you could reach for the stars, what would it be?
Well, I talked about it before, but I want an exit with this
Mhm.
business. Like, that is my goal. That is like the team's goal. We're really focused on that in a few years. So, like the next 5 years, I want to scale this to be, $20 million, doing $20 million in revenue a year. That's where see us going. But besides that, besides the money, the monetary,
Right.
like I said, because let's be honest, like, I'm doing this to prove to myself that I can do it and build this business to be what I know it can be. Because I feel it
Yes.
every single day. I feel the community, I feel the need and the demand and the market response. So, besides that, like, building, obviously, a community, which we're on a small scale, but we have a community of loyal customers that love our non-toxic products, and they are so into focused on living a low toxic lifestyle. And I not only like they learned from us, I learned from them as well. And I love like making a perfect product. So really focusing on building that community and catering to that community. And so meaning like we're building products literally to service our customers. So like we're about to launch like a non-toxic feminine care line. So feminine body wash, feminine spray, and an intimate balm, all made with non-toxic ingredients. And this is like a little care kit that we ask our customers, what do you want to see next? And this is what they
Yeah.
asked for. So we spent like 6 months making this product, and it's actually made in Texas by a woman who's been in the business for 30 years. And so I'm really excited to see what happens. And of course, just, having fun while doing it. Yeah, I love speaking to women all day long and asking them, and me becoming more educated and just building more products for them.
Yeah. That's awesome. How many like SKUs do you have right
Yeah,
now?
great question. So we launched with a compostable cuffed underwear, and was kind of like our first round of doing this,
Mhm.
testing the waters. And so that's one that comes in, well, it's actually two because it comes in a bikini and a thong, all in three different colors. And then we have a better for you underwear, which is like our upgraded version of that underwear, just like different size, better sizing, and a little bit more stretch. And then we launched camisoles. So like the camisoles are matching sets with the underwear. And yeah, we're about to come out with our third iteration of the underwear, which I think is perfect or almost perfect. And then, like I said, the intimate care line. So right now, just underwear and camisoles, but more to come.
That's a great line though.
I'm pleased with it. I mean, it's difficult. The more you create, the more difficult, and the volume of everything else becomes greater. Like, I think the biggest thing we're always asked for is more variety of our underwear, but like we don't have the luxury of creating so many different pieces like that the big brands do, because they just produce at mass in a third world country and use really cheap products. So for
Mhm.
us, we are like very intentional, obviously, about the fabrics. And yeah, we pretty much are like they're hand sewn in Los Angeles. So
Wow.
it's I wish we could be producing more, but that's just not who we are. And so we're kind of leaning into that. Like you get these options, and if you like them, great. If you don't, I'll listen to your feedback. Setting boundaries.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, it's your business. If
It
you
is.
listen to all the outside noise, you would never go
Right.
anywhere.
Oh, that's the very difficult part is like, seeing Instagram DMs or like Instagram comments, no one DMs, Instagram comments of people being what is, bad reviews. And I'm like, you just have to remind yourself, like, this is not for everyone. Take the feedback, use it constructively, and listen and learn. And that's all we can do.
Right. I have gotten that a lot more. in starting this podcast.
Yeah, I'm curious how's it going?
Yeah, it's not like I'm not a man hater in any sense of the word. I'm just experiencing, like, my experience dating men. Like, I'm always like, I never drag anyone through the mud. I always say there's 3 sides to every story. Like, I was never perfect. I talk from, like, a heterosexual mindset. I have
Okay.
2 boys, I'm like so I interview mostly women because it's just
Right.
the space, we're naturally more chatty and, it's I've interviewed guys on here as well, but I can post a video and there will be a guy that's like, "You're a whore." And I'm like, "I was
You
talking
could
about taking a break from dating if it doesn't like, make you happy anymore, if it feels more like a task." And I'm like,
you know,
"Oh, okay."
and it's so frustrating that it's like, this is your creative outlet. This is your business. And it's so annoying because you have to put yourself out there in order to grow. But then someone's going to come in and be a jerk. And it's just par for the course. And it sucks. I mean, could like commend you for like doing this. This is amazing. And it's a lot of hard work. And
Yeah.
F the haters. That's what I
It
say.
literally it's actually taught me a lot because I'm naturally such a people pleaser with like, I wanna make everyone happy, and I've learned that you literally cannot make everybody happy. You can
No.
defend guys, and then guys will say you're stupid, or you can, like, take a stance and be, like, pro women, and then they're calling you names, and it's like, you truly just either people don't have the comprehension to understand everything that you're doing, or they're
Yeah.
just naturally nasty people, and they were gonna
Yeah,
critique you even if they liked what you were doing because you're doing something that they can't.
exactly. It's a lose-lose situation.
It really is. And I was
But
like, "I'm just kinda over it." Like, bring
and
the
you know what?
comments on 'cause now it's better engagement.
This is what I was gonna say. It's proof that it's hitting mainstream, and that's where you wanna be. Like, the more I don't know about the saying, "All press is good press," but that's kind of what it is, and the more exposure you're getting, the better. So, if they wanna comment and engage with you, like, let them.
Yeah, I'm like, "I don't even block you anymore." I'm like, "You're boosting this video in the algorithm, and
Perfect.
I'm
I mean,
actually embarrassed for you that you're publicly speaking that way." Like,
I
does your
know.
mom know?
Well, it's also crazy because you can go and, like, see who the person is, and why are you you know what I you can, like, go and, like, click on them and be like, "Oh, I know it's Brad or whoever," and you can look them up, and it's just it's mind-blowing to me.
Yes. You're like, "Oh, you have 2 kids and they go to this elementary school," or you're like, "Maybe don't
Didn't
be
we
like that
learn
publicly."
didn't we learn from, like, cancel culture that you should not be a jerk on social media?
Yeah.
No one
Like,
learns.
everybody has a social media account. So it's like, go find the people that align with you, and, I have to catch myself sometimes too because if there's something I don't align with on social, I'm like, I could comment, but what does that do? Just
Right.
makes me look bad. I can either scroll, I can unfollow, I can move on with my day, and if it really bothers me 5 hours from now, I can take a new action, I guess.
Yeah. I am like I tend to avoid because I'm, like, afraid of backlash. I don't know why, and I just don't wanna engage with anyone behind a screen. I just feel like it goes nowhere.
Right.
So I'll
It
usually,
does.
like, follow and just delete or whatever, get it out of my sight.
Right. It's almost like you want somebody, like, fielding that, but then at the same time, it helps you develop more as a human that has to be on the internet.
Of course, of course. I mean, every time I open my business Instagram account, I'm like, "I don't know what I'm gonna get today." As it also, like, it is women's underwear, and so, yeah, the audience can be a little bit risque, and there's definitely some things that you just have to kind of tackle bit by bit.
Yeah. I take social media like, I make sure I don't open it in the morning. I know
Okay,
that
this is
Facebook
good.
is usually where, like, the worst people are, and
Mhm.
so if I see a video going off, I'm like, "Am I in the right mindset to accept all of this and, like, deal with this calmly? Or am I, overstimulated from school drop-offs or" I have a long to-do list and I'm like really spicy and I just want to like, speak my piece. And so I'm like, I check in with myself to make sure, like, am I in the right space to tackle this portion of my work?
I think that's a great boundary to set. I mean, my friends just recently told me about my friend group, like, they told me about this thing called Brick. I guess it's
What
an
is it?
app. I could be misspeaking, but from my understanding, it's an app that blocks your like, bricks your use of certain social media accounts for certain hours. So you can say like, "Oh, every weekday morning from, like, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., I can't have access to Facebook." And
Mm,
it will restrict you, which I think is such a useful tool. I mean, I have not done it because I'm like, "Oh, I have to have Instagram for my business," but maybe
right.
I should look into it.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it's just time wasted, when you get on Instagram or Facebook and you're like, "Wow, I'm irritated," and yeah, I just sometimes it's very frustrating, but there's also great things about social media that I
I know.
love.
It connected us, which
Exact
so grateful for.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So what is your as we wrap this up, what is your, I guess, ultimate piece of advice for someone who knows that they have that entrepreneurial mindset and they just wanna go for it?
I mean, I say go for it, but take it slow. We were talking about in the earlier on the call, like you can do it as a side hustle. And I recommend doing that and not going 1,000% in right away because you number one, might find that you hate it, that you hate working for yourself because it's not normal. And also, two, you might find that this product or this business doesn't work, but start small. And there's so many resources out there. YouTube, for one, right? YouTube teaches you all these things like Chat GPT, Claude, that can help you to build something by yourself. Like, use
Mm,
those resources but start small and, like, give yourself a time frame and be like, "Okay, I'm gonna give myself a year to do this on the side, and then at the year mark, I'm gonna decide what to do next, or extend that year to 2 years or whatever."
mm,
Um, and, a lot of people, like, want to have these, like, big proclamations that they're starting a business, and maybe don't do that in the beginning. Because I see a lot of people do it to themselves and then get embarrassed because they're like, crap, I put myself out there on Instagram and now I'm not doing it. And it's this like weird internal pressure that you have. So
mm,
be sure about what you want to do long term. Start it out, see what happens, talk to your family and friends, start small, go to a farmer's market to sell your
mm.
cookies or whatever it is that you're doing and see what happens. Who knows? Side hustle can turn into multi-million dollar business. That's happened countless of times.
Yeah. That's great advice. Well, thank you so much for being on Love in the Wilds. I hope
Thank
that
you.
everybody who listened got some great advice on entrepreneurship, but most importantly, the power of non toxic underwear as an essential for us women. So it's
Yes.
on Amazon. I'm literally going to get off this call and buy some and then tossing all my old underwear because this has just been mind opening.
Yes, it is. It is. Don't worry too much. You're doing great. I always go by the 80/20 rule. But thank you so much for having me. This is awesome.
Yay. All right. Well, we'll be in touch. We're going to have an interview in 2 or 3 years. You're going to be, you know, an absolute sensation.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Manifesting right now.
Yes. We're saying it now.
Love that.
All right. And that's a wrap on today's episode of Love in the Wild. A huge thank you to Gabby Rooney for joining us and sharing her journey of building brands with purpose, challenging industry norms, and advocating for women's health, and her crazy entrepreneurship. If this conversation inspired you, be sure to follow Gabby and for sure check out Cuft to learn more about their mission to make non toxic living more accessible. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who'd love it. We'll see you next time on Love in the Wild.